Welcome back, and thank you so much for choosing to stay with the morning show on this Thursday morning. This is what we call the Thankful Thursdays here on the morning show. Umangabe usanda genege, you're just on time because we'll be speaking to our spiritual advisor, Misconceptions. Namhlanje we're looking at dating spiritually gifted people. And kuningi esikuzwayo, a lot of people would say, yeah, it's a bit tricky, it's very difficult. All those people will say, it's very difficult for me to get into a relationship because I'm spiritually gifted. But okay, Mina, I'm not the expert. Misconceptions is here, and as always, he'll share his insights and educate us on this. You're more than welcome to send us your voice notes on 072-411-6528 if you do have any questions that you might like Misconceptions to answer for you. Thokoza, welcome back. I mean, this topic is a topic that, a lot of people would discuss, and it would seem very tricky to some people. But for some people, they would say that, but there's nothing different, there's nothing difficult, right? What are some of the things that you normally hear people say when it comes to dating somebody who is spiritually gifted? Some that you would say are myths and they just don't exist.
I think the two biggest things that I would like to debunk that I've heard from dating spiritually gifted people is, number one, it's more difficult or it's harder dating spiritually gifted people. That's a fallacy, incorrect. And number two, if you're dating someone who's spiritually gifted or is in the process of intwaso, you then need to Thokoza them from time to time. And then the lines get blurred. When am I speaking to my partner and when am I speaking to ugogo and umkhulu? Yeah. Sometimes we make the relationship too spiritual, and then that in itself is what ruins the relationship. Not the spirituality. It's the fact that you are unable to separate when something is a relationship issue and something is a spiritual issue. And then the third and final thing is the idea that dating spiritually gifted people is difficult because of them. When in actual fact, the person whom you attract is a reflection of yourself spiritually.
Yeah.
So uma wena, you are attracting izangoma or you're attracting Abba Prophet, that in itself is an indication ukuthi kunemimoya la kuwena as usiyabonga that you are running away from and that needs to be resolved. So kwesinye isikhathi, it's not the fact that the dating spiritually gifted people is difficult. It's the fact that wena ekhaya, there's a history that you are avoiding that should be resolved, and that is why your relationships are not working out.
Sure. And there's usually then that confusion around, was I chosen by Idlozi to be with this person, or was this person chosen by Idlozi to be with me?
Lovely question. There's always that one who's bang no, but siyabonga, they chose this person for me. And lo muntu ushadile, they married.
Yeah. Yeah.
So first and foremost, to answer the question, yes, Idlozi can choose someone for you.
Okay.
However, that person might not necessarily choose you. Remember, mina, Idlozi can say, Siyabonga, we want you to be with Umandlo, right? But Usiyabonga is not behaving in a manner which shows ukuthi uyayibona the blessing of Umandlo in his life.
Right.
So if the behavior and the actions does not match the spiritual gift and the spiritual predisposition for this relationship, ngeke kusebenze. Yabo idlozi lile wena ula.
Yeah.
So you have to match their energies. That's why I'm saying to people, it is possible, right? There are people sitting at home right now. You are with someone who idlozi has shown you that they chose you, but they are not choosing you every single day with their actions.
Yeah.
Yabo. Yeah. So you can go to idlozi and say, Bantu abadala, ngizamile, out of respect for you. Ngizamile, I tried, but lo muntu is not coming to the party. I can't do their 50%.
Right. And what happens in a situation, Sia, where I meet somebody and just when I meet them, they are a normal, ordinary person. And then in the relationship, we start to find out that this person has a spiritual gift, but they don't want to pursue that gift. What then is my role in this entire thing, because sometimes you'll find that there's things that come up now to say nibambegile somewhere because uneli akafuni ukuthi ethathe ikhwama zikagogo, and things are just not working out here, and we know or have been told that the reason is because one of you needs to just take up their spiritual gift.
There's nothing wrong with not being exposed, and therefore you are scared and apprehensive and a little anxious of going into that space, into the world of African spirituality. That's fine, okay? That's what adulting is.
Yeah.
You're scared, but ungena ngekani.
Yes.
Yabo?
Yeah.
But there is everything wrong with doing nothing about it. And if you are sitting at home right now and you're dating someone who has a spiritual issue that they are refusing to resolve, you must understand that at some point you are going to make a considerable sacrifice that is going to hinder your own personal future. Because when you could be on B, no C, but you're going to remain at A. And at some point, especially when it comes to the point of marriage, especially where kids are involved, some people are sitting where ingane are having issues because Baba has a problem spiritually or Mama has a problem spiritually. If you are in that position and you know your husband or you know your mother, your wife doesn't want to resolve it, when you can go back home and do it on their behalf. We're in a very difficult position in that inkinga yemimoya of the children comes from umdeni kababa, right? However, they don't believe and he doesn't want to do anything. But Tina, siyacela, can we please give in ingane time and then ningabageza abantwana, or you can do a little small ritual just to buy abantwana time whilst you're still negotiating with baby daddy or baby mama.
Sure. All right. So, Sia, this is where we're going to leave the conversation for now and take a short ad break. But Sia is not going anywhere. He'll be staying right here with us. And after the break, he'll be answering some of your questions. So keep those voice notes coming, and we'll do that when we come back. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with the morning show. It is a Thursday and we are in conversation with our spiritual advisor, Usiam Keys. And today we're speaking particularly about dating a spiritually gifted person. We've asked you to send us some of your voice notes, and Usia will be answering some of the questions that you have. Sia, thank you so much for staying with us. We do have our viewers who've sent through their voice notes, so we'll listen to some of those voice notes. Let's do that right now.
Ugogo eKZN besacela ukubuza ukuthi uma kuthiwa kuyenzeka uba nomuntu uma spiritual gifted kumele nenze njani ukuze nigcine ubudlelwano benu bubuhle.
So what do I need to do to make sure that my relationship with my partner who is spiritually gifted, we are able to preserve it, we are able to just strengthen it?
Okay. So, open-ended question. How do you make sure that your spiritually gifted partner and the relationship remains intact? To answer the question, Kamama, okokuqala that I would do is you need to sort your things out individually. Ngoba at the time, angakashadi nisajola, and maybe you've been together, maybe there's a child in the picture as well. I would sort your things out individually, right? Ngokwemimoya. But then at the same time, together, you need to have the conversation about what is the spiritual setup going to be like going forward between the two of you, should you decide to get married. Because maybe both of you come from homes where they don't believe in African spirituality. Yeah, well, but together you can make a conscious decision to say, okay, Tina, between the two of us, we are going to actually practice African spirituality and izinto zedlozi going forward, because that will benefit abantwana. So you start as individuals, then together you will be fine.
Sure. Right, so we do hope that you are getting your answer there from Usiam Kiza pertaining to that question. Let's listen to another voice note that you sent through.
Morning show.
Morning.
Nami ngiwani abantu abanesithunywa, and I'm struggling to be in a relationship because ngibona izinto sometimes ubona izinto ngomuntu wakho maybe zingakayenzeki or uzifile ukuthi something is going to happen. And sometimes to ukuthi ezinye is more dangerous because we feel around the environment ekubo, let's just say kubo, and kubo kunalo muntu vele naye or mhlambe like kunomuntu othwasile or umuntu wenyama ini uyabona ukuthi kuzowenzakalani. Sekuba i-problem sometimes thola ukuthi awulwi nomuntu wakho because ulwa nomuntu wakho because abakubo bayabona ukuthi uyababonela izinto zabo abazenzayo. So like asangazi ukuthi izinto ezifana nalezo, how do we handle them? Because it's true. Sometimes kunama situations whereby uyathula, kunama situations whereby awukhoni ukuthula, awukhoni futhi ukuba phambi kwalo muntu lo ongcolile or umuntu owenza ukungcola, awukhoni. Like mina isikhathi esiningi umuntu makayenza ukungcola aphethe izinto ezingekho right ezilimazayo, ngingakhoni ukumkhulumisa nje at all until lezo zinto zakhe aziyeke. Mase kukubekile, that's when ngikhona ukukhuluma naye. And le nto leyo ngoba even nje friendship I don't have friends amaningi kwi-relationship, ngiba right sengumuntu nje odingekile, umuntu nje uthola ukuthi ngiyaphuma kwi-relationship for ama-reasons engawaboni. Ngicela abantu nje angazi ukuthi how can I solve this problem? Yeah.
So this is what we were talking about earlier on, Sia, about it being difficult for people who are spiritually gifted to be in relationship or to sustain relationships.
Well, that's not necessarily an issue of being spiritually gifted. You can not be spiritually gifted but see things from your partner's side of the family, which know spanban uyaganga. Now your initial impulse will be uthi hayi angimtshela umuntu wami. Yabo, but now you must understand that you're dividing the family and you're putting him or her in a very precarious position. Because if you're saying uthi ugokwam or mawam or auntie uyaganga, right? Now he's in the position where he has to choose between believing you or sticking with his family. Yabo, which is very difficult. That's not the route I would go. Instead, what I would do bengizophahla to idlozi ngithi say fine, bantu abadala ngiyabonga, thank you very much for showing me what you're showing me, but le nkulumo lena is very difficult for mina ukuthi ngidlulise kuyena, especially considering the fact that we're not married yet. Therefore ngiyanicela bantu abadala ukuthi kube yinina enimkhombisayo, or show me what to do for him so that yena angazibonela. Yabo, then mhlambe you can say, okay fine, you know what, let's maybe go for a cleansing together. Just a general cleansing. Now that cleanse, but now you encourage him and ask for clarity. Because now what you are doing is you are pushing him to see for himself. Because at the end of the day, he will never believe you because it's just word of mouth, it's hearsay. But up until Idlo's Lake comes to him in the dreams and shows her partner what she is seeing, then he can go to her and say, "Ay, Yazin, Muntuam, Stanasam, this is what I'm seeing in my dreams." And then she can say, "Ay, Yazin, Nabi, I've seen the same thing." So now what you have done is you've not only have you shown him the truth, but you've also, in fact, brought yourselves closer together as a couple, but you haven't divided and you haven't put him in a difficult position where you're dividing him in the family.
Right. And Sia, would you then say, just given this last voice note that we've listened to, is it easier for spiritually gifted people to just date one another?
Yes, it is fine. There's nothing, it's not harder, it's not easier than normal people dating.
Right.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I think it's a little better dating spiritually gifted people because at least I know you believe in this.
In the same industry.
Not necessarily. Not
you
necessarily.
Understand the workings of this thing that you're in.
In the sense that I know that we will be able to do what needs to be done. It is so much harder than dating someone who's in denial or unaware or simply ignorant.
Right.
Yabo.
Right.
Dating spiritually gifted people, an issue of that, like Ikwama, Nemimo, and Nejlozi, is much easier than fixing that I guess there's two kinds of problems: the spiritually gifted, and then there's one's zesigo nesinto and family history. I'd rather date these problems are better than problems where there's a family history issue. There's a surname issue. Umden doesn't want to change the surname. Umden doesn't want to cleanse the axe murderer in the family. Yabo, this is actually easier to deal with than
the
this.
other one.
This one I deal with daily. Inkinga zakhona.
Yeah.
90% of my clients, inkinga zla. Lezes la. It's better.
All right. Okay. And that is it from OCM Keys. Really just joining us this morning here on the morning show to share insights on the do's and don'ts and some of the things that you can do when it comes to dating somebody who is spiritually gifted. And you can get to CM Keys on the various social media platforms if you do have more questions that you'd like to ask him. But that's where we leave this conversation for now. Do stay with us.